Twig, I'm happy to sit down and chit chat with you and even get to know you a little bit better.
Absolutely.
You're killing shit.
Thank you.
Who introduced you to? I know you said we were talking a little bit about your cousin.
I'm a cousin, yeah. Huge influence on me, just artistically in general. I think would be the first person that like shocked and awed me with art, you know? I remember seeing his stuff young, like mind blowing. And he would always do like bigger pieces. Give me this piece, it was like a Batman, like outline pencil, but it was huge. It was on the giant poster board with like rain falling through it. It was wild. And he was always drawing. So anytime I got together with him, I was just going through his books and checking things out. And he was definitely like the first one where I was like, saw the graffiti in the book and was like, damn, that's crazy. I want to do something like that.
Was he drawing other types of stuff too?
Yeah, he was very illustrative. He would do paintings. He went to Pennsylvania College of Art and Design for a while, but then just kind of fell out of love with art or whatever it was.
But yeah, he's still not painting.
No, he started to draw again, but no, he doesn't dabble anymore.
Yeah. How did he get introduced? He's a little bit older, I take it?
Yeah, he's about 50. Okay, 50 now. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what spurred him. I think probably just friends in school.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good question. I never asked him that.
What kind of stuff were you into drawing before you got introduced to graffiti?
All kinds of stuff, but definitely like more comic book illustration type of things. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much followed what he was doing, and just loved that. And then after that, just kind of started playing around with letters.
Like, because this is going back before like the internet. So like, as far as exposure, are you seeing stuff in your city? Are you seeing stuff like,
Never
like
really.
the Style Wars or any of those?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't watch those movies till like much later.
Real.
And in my city town, I don't recollect a lot of it. Even when like I first started going out, like there wasn't a lot trackside. There wasn't a lot, period. Like you kind of had to find it,
Yeah.
you know.
That's kind of how it was out here.
Went up.
Yeah. Well, no, especially like I'm from right outside of my city, so it just was like a foreign, culture. And before the internet too, it's just like, it's like stepping back in time.
It is.
I miss it actually. So you start getting into drawing letters. When do you actually start painting?
I think I would call it like 2006, 2007.
Okay.
Definitely solid 2007.
Like seeing your stuff now, I would think you've been painting since like the 90s.
No. I got started much later in life. I had a lot of book time and just art in general in life. And finally was like, I was kind of at a weird spot in my life. I was living with my grandmother at the time, and I had like fucked up financially. So I was trying to just like save, and in order to do that, I would just stay in my room. I wouldn't do shit. To go out on Fridays with the boys or something, but nothing crazy. And she was like, what do you want to do with yourself? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, you got to figure out something. You got to be more social and get out and actually do something, live your life. So I was like, I kind of want to, I've been looking at graffiti, like, well, I'd love to do that. But she's like, well, go do it. So I started like really diving into it a little bit before that. I went to school for graphics up at the Bradley Academy in New York. And because I was playing with letters in high school, so they put me up there. We learned a bunch there. And then just started like playing more and more, looking at stuff more and more, and trying it more, you know?
Yeah.
And then I finally was like, I'm doing this. I want to do something like real big. So I found this little like cutty trackside spot. It was like not even trackside, it was just under bridge. Sure. And did my first piece. It was a mess.
Man.
It was terrible. It was Dark as shit. Didn't even know the land. Like, I'd drive by it, but would never, like, get on my car, go try to get to it. Dude. Every part about that first piece was awful.
Yeah.
Dude. Trekking down there. Didn't know the land. I'm just walking up to the wall, and I fall through, like, this giant hole in the ground. Like, not fall through it, but, like, my whole leg straight down, like, up past my knee. And I'm, like, moving to get to it. So, like, pulls backward and shit. I'm all, like, bugged out. So I finally get to the wall.
By yourself?
By myself, yeah. All my first stuff for, like, the first 5 years was just by myself.
Sure.
Trying to, like, find spots, find people,
Yeah.
Because we go down there and we would see, like, not the first spot. There was no there. CRX out, you would see shit, and we'd be like,
Who the fuck is that?
yeah, the fuck is that? How long ago was this done?
Right.
Like, try to get the idea of, like, is anybody, like, actually
Still active.
rare out there? But anyway, that first piece, like, after our leg goes through the hole, I'm all bugged out. Like, pull out my paint. Everything's going pretty smooth. And then I realized, like, halfway through, I had switched my fill color with my outline color.
Probably like dark.
Yeah. It was terrible. It was like green halfway fill with a pink outline. Just terrible color combo still. And then flipped for the rest of the piece, and I was like, oh, that things came out real good. And then I drove by the next.
Good night, and like,
Fuck. It's like, man. And it lasted for a little bit, and then finally got buffed out. It took like 3 months, so it was pretty cool. And I was like, all right, well then, I guess I can do this. So I just started doing like trackside stuff, and continuing to try to find people was fucking, it felt like forever. I was like, I'm never going to find anybody to like paint with. It's just going to be me. But it was also enjoyable because at that time, like, you're younger, don't have your shit together. And all my friends, including me, would go out to the bar, just get shitty. And I was like, at one point, I had enough. And I was like, I would go out and I would be the first person. I'd be like, I'm out. I'll see you guys. Where you going? I'm like, man, gonna go paint. I was like, this is fucking boring. So I would just tip out and go paint out myself. It was like that, like I said, for about 5 years.
were you writing Twig then?
Yep.
You've always written Twig?
Always written Twig. I've recently, within like the last, like, I'd say year 2, maybe 3, just playing with like a new name.
Sure.
When I have time.
That's fun to experiment.
It is, because, at that point, it would be like 15 years painting the same name. I was like, oh, fucking, I'm bored. These letters only go so many ways, and I want to like play with different shapes and different flows.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that too. Like the other names, those are just other names that you just wanted to
say, oh, that's like an experiment with this. It kind of makes sense. Like, the name was art. So I was like, it's cool to play around. You can spell it like a bunch of different ways. So that's cool. Gives me options.
Yeah, I seen the guy, I don't know if you know about him, in Be More, who he writes a different name every time.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like that's gotta keep
flipping the game a little bit. And you get to experiment with letters, and I feel like if you can build your alphabet like that strong.
And that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Because you get comfortable drawing the same letters. And I was trying to draw Chewy's name, practice.
And it's interesting to do exchanges with other artists, because I feel like it does make you respect what they go through to do their name. Like,
sure,
you look at it, you always focused on your own things and not realizing how hard somebody else's name is.
Curious, like, how some writers get their name. I know some people just pick a name because it's like, dude, W sick, M is sick, or,
And mine was from my buddies who have nothing to do with graffiti at all. I mean, very supportive of what I do, but none of them do. They're not into that. They don't do anything even remotely close. Not even like artistic. They're all very different.
Normal.
But like I said, we were all knuckleheads back in the day. Our friend group was I'll understand go a little rowdy. So, you know, we'd always be fucking with each other. Like, you get slapped in the face, not even think, you know what I mean? I understand. So those dudes he could never back down with. So if, you slap me in the face, I'm gonna come hurt that catch. Yeah. So my one bigger buddy was like, dude, if you hit me in the face again, I was like, I'm gonna snap you like a twig. And everybody enjoyed that, but I didn't. I'm like, yeah, enough. But that name stuck, and it was irritating. And it was right about the time that I was like picking up painting, and I was like, I'm gonna use this, like kind of flip it on its head. Yeah, and it worked perfectly. I think.
Yeah.
Name sticks, but
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I've never seen that name. Anybody pick that name? And
It's funny enough. There's another dude that writes Twigs, and I read an interview with him. I can't remember the publication. It doesn't matter. But started around the same time as me.
really?
Yeah, was into graphic design and stuff too. I think he was from like the Bay Area,
Okay.
but I could be wrong about that.
That's the other thing too. Picking a name nowadays that's
Everybody's it's so tough. I feel like the only thing we got to stay away from is like, don't pick a dead writer's name or a super popular one that's being crow you or somebody else.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I want to ask a lot of guys I sit down with about is like etiquette. Painting with makes me feel like an amateur sometimes, but I'm grateful because he's there to be like, hey man, like this is how you do this without like disrespecting other writers, and even like learning about the hierarchy of if it's a tag, you can put a throwy over a tag, or if it's a throwy, you can put a piece over it, but cover it. Don't leave little bits of it sticking out.
That's a blessing, dude. That was the one thing that I always search for, like beyond like just meeting people and having like partners to paint with, or be able to extend past our area. And it took years, but I finally met like an older writer that he could call for shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And learning on that is super important, and it's awesome that you have that. You know what I mean?
sure.
I don't know. That was one of the most important things to me, is like making sure that I wasn't fucking up.
Yeah.
And since there was no one around, I would just read fucking everything. Everything you get your hands on. Yeah. It's like, it was, like you said before, it was an obsession. Yeah. Like it was, you would hear, like I would just hear something and I'd be like, oh, okay, don't do that.
Right.
And I remember being like, I met this dude in town who was like, oh, you paint too? This is like probably one of the first people that I met. And I was like, yeah, I was pumped because I was like, oh, fucking finally, Yeah. So we went out, did some track shots, and this kid is giving me this whole speech about, oh, you're not doing real graffiti until you're doing it illegally. And I was like, all right, cool. And trying to talk about like history and respect. And then I watched this guy go over something that's been there for years. And I was like, well, that'll be the last time that we fucking hang out. Like, I can't. I knew enough then to just be like, I'm gonna tell you art stuff. Like, that's what I mean. Even if it's whack, it's still history. Like, what are you doing? And I was bummed because it was like this super cool illustrative, like punk rocky style face. It was fucking ill, and I had seen it. It was one of the first things that I saw tracks out, and I was like, this thing's fucking awesome. And it was simple. You could tell it had been done since like 90s, 80s, something like that, Yeah, dude. When I was like, damn, that sucks to see that go, because it's like it would be one of the first things that you would see when you would enter that track out spot, and it was always fucking rad to see. And super cool. Reminded me of my cousin and his style, and I was like, oh, it's fucking rad. But yeah, definitely some knuckleheads that don't take heed to that. But I do not fuck with that mentality at all. I feel like if it's there before you, leave it. Go find another spot. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's why I think too, even like finding these old spots where you find this old graffiti or old train piece or something, you're like, dude, like this story about the person creates this myth in your head.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
I think that's the cool part about it. There's, I mean, much less nowadays, but the anonymity behind it is awesome. Very mysterious.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder. And sometimes you're lucky enough to meet those people and like,
get some background.
yes, get or maybe even become friends with them. You know, that's kind of cool. Like a cool journey part of it, you know?
I feel the same way.
Like meeting new people and like, especially when they're super dope. It's like, oh, this is great. And they turn out to be a good person. Like that's super cool. Because I feel like you meet a lot of people, at least I have. And sometimes they're dope style wise and just not a good human being. You know?
Yeah, no,
that's a bummer.
I feel that. I'd rather paint with dudes who are like mediocre, who I could trust. Yep. You know, I know are good dudes. You know, like
you gotta trust people around you, especially when you're doing some shit. For sure. You know?
Crew?
Yeah.
Can you say what?
Yeah, I'm in HU.
Okay.
It's a freak crew. There's some solid killers on that. I was part of the H Gods for a while too. Other freak crew. I tried when I was first starting to put together my own. That comes with a lot of headaches. Obviously, you're dealing with other artists and life in general, and trying to get people to or push people to produce. You know what I mean?
That shouldn't. You shouldn't even have to like being in a band or something. I can't I can't get you like to fucking come over once or twice a week.
Exactly.
Want to play, you know?
And I get it. Life is
Sure.
also
Whatever is anymore.
Yeah, and it's just that got to be a point where I don't know, I had enough of that. But still, like those dudes I still paint with all the time. Sure, but yeah, just the crew part, like pushing that idea, I think I fell out of love with it. We also I started it with a buddy of mine that I met from Baltimore, and he ended up passing away, and then after that it was kind of like, you know, wasn't the same. Sure, you
know. You know, the guys I see you paint with, are they also same crew?
The guys I paint with,
like I see like Neo's Army.
So I met here. Yeah, so I feel like that was.
I want to sit down with all those guys.
Yeah, you should. Those guys are fucking rad. So I'd say like the trajectory, those dudes, yes. Specifically Tier, like I'd say that was the first dude that I met locally that it was kind of like I met him, saw some shit on Facebook of another dude painting. It was like painting a portrait. It ended up to be a buddy of his that passed away, and I was like, how's this painting in my city and I don't know you, right? This is crazy. So I hit him up and I was like, what's up? So I met him down there and I was like, oh, you paint? Oh, you paint? All right. Yeah. And then we just clicked and kept it going. I had met my other buddy from Baltimore through all of my friends. They were always into like cars and all that. I was too for a while. So there was this shop down in Dundalk that my buddy used to work with. They did like JDM cars. So I ended up going down there with them one time. And the dudes were super chill. And I don't even know how it happened. I think at that point I was painting like the inside of my buddy's shop. Like I would just come work with him, draw, and paint the inside of the shop. And he was like, come down with us. And I guess he was like just talking about how I was painting the inside of the shop. And these dudes were like, oh, you want to paint our shop? And I was like, cool. And they literally got paint. And I was like, I didn't come down here to paint. No, I'm good. They're like, there's these paint cans in the back there. I was like, cool. It was like fucking 2 degrees outside. I was standing on like the top of like vans that were parked outside of the block just to be able to paint this. And the paint was like shit, like hard touch-up paint. I know what I'm doing. And I was like, sorry, dude, this shit's not working. I was like, I'll come back down next time and I'll do something. So I like bought a bunch of shit. And it was this terrible rendition of it was like a Nissan 240 that I put on this wall because they would do those kinds of cars. And it was terrible. Looking back at it, it was awful. But anyway, this dude comes down. Next time I come down to see these dudes, this guy comes down. He's like, yo, you see the stuff out front? I was like, yeah, it's wild. Like, come back. There's this like wild ass demon face and a huge piece on like the top of the building, which I was like, what the fuck? How's this? Like, how'd y'all do this? And it's crazy. He's like, this dude came over and asked if you could paint the shop. And we were like, so you are kind of the outside, like, fuck it. So he's like, let's see what you got. And he's like, this dude pulls out a piece of paper this big. But then he starts unfolding it. And he's like, it gets to be like this big. And it's that whole thing you see on the wall. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that's crazy. He's like, yeah, dude's nuts. And I was like, all right. I was like, I felt some kind of way about it. And like younger me definitely had more of a ego, I guess you would say. Sure. So I was like, damn, this guy smoked me. I was like, I have teeth too. Okay, I love you. So came back and I came up with this idea where it was a brain. And the brain, like inside of the brain, like all the brain coagulations would say my name. And I was like, that is a cool ass idea. So I put that up. And I came back down a little while after that. And it was like, dude came by, saw your piece. And we were like, do you like it? And he's like, yeah, it's cool. And he's like, do you see it? And the guy's like, what do you mean? He's like, this says his name. And he's like, oh shit. And he's like, I guess he told those dudes, he's like, oh, I gotta meet this guy. Like next time he comes down, here's my number, call him. So we come down again and we meet this dude. And he's like, first generation Polish immigrant dude, just wild as fuck. And I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, come to my spot. And I was like, all right. My boys are chilling. I was like, let's go. So we like walked to the spot, got a bunch of beers and shit. And I don't know, like I got to this dude's house. He was living in the basement of somebody else's house, just like one room. And the walls were fucking covered, dude. Like every square inch of the wall was covered with these like crazy, like demonic faces that like morphed into graffiti pieces. And I was like, what the fuck? And he used to write Cetic. So like we ended up clicking that night and drank a bunch of beers. I got like super up and I feel like I only had like 3 beers and I was like bugging out. I was called my homies. I was like, y'all gotta come get. I was like, I'm at this dude's basement. I'm just like fucking hammered. So they picked me up and then, you know, ever since then, me and him stayed connected and would get up a couple times a year and paint. And that went on for a while. And then I found it was like sitting in my apartment and I was like, I'm gonna start a crew. And I met him and I was like, yo, you wanna be in a crew with me? And he's like, yeah, man. So we started this crew. And then shortly thereafter is when I met Tier. And I was like, hey, you wanna be in a crew? I was like, yeah, cool. So we started this little crew. It's called RBW, Rather Be Writing. The corniest name ever. It was like one of those like bumper stickers you would see on somebody's car. And this kind of makes sense for me because like it was all I was focused on. Like I did not give a shit about anything. Sure, yeah. Worked a regular ass job. I was doing like home finishing construction shit. And then I would just go out like every night and paint till I was tired. And check out new spots, try to get in, like we would always try to get in the train yard that was local after me and Tier met. And every time we never got in. We'd always like, we'd roll out, there'd be like a truck like pointed right at us. We'd try so many times, never happened. But just would have crazy nights, dude. Just go around and around. Finding old spots or going around.
Do you have a favorite Do you like trains? Do you like walls? Do you like tags? Do you like throwies? Like, your pieces are dope.
Thank you. That's been my major focus. Like, that's all I really cared about. Like, I'll do the other stuff, but I feel like piecing to me was like the upper echelon of like, when I look at graffiti, I'm like, yeah, like, not to downplay any of the other styles involved.
Sure.
But like, that to me was always like, oh, that's where I want to get.
Right. That's like the if you can piece.
Yeah. So that's what I was always focused on, what I always liked. And I feel like at the end of the day, I feel good walking away from something like that. I mean, I'm going to go out and I'm gonna like put myself out there on the line, or just myself out there in general. Like, I want to make sure it's fucking worth something that worth something that I can walk away and be with. Yeah, like, I'd be comfortable, getting in trouble for something like that
Gotcha.
versus just going. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's fun. I'm not knocking it, but like, to me, piecing, like, it makes more sense for me.
Yeah.
And I want to also feel like when I walk away from a piece, I'm fucking physically and mentally exhausted. And that's how I tell if I've done what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Be like sun poisoning and dehydration.
Yeah. I said it when we were training the other time. I neglect all bodily.
I was like, I can relate to that problem. Yeah, and like I've gotten sick.
Oh yeah.
I
You just like don't eat, don't drink.
3 days working out. Like Ramon and I, worked on the wall 3 days in a row. Like in the middle of summer, I just wasn't drinking water. Sunburn on just one side of my body for standing.
And you keep going and you can feel it.
When you can't stop painting.
I can tough it out. I can get through.
Yes.
And then by the time you're done, you're like, what the fuck?
It's like, but that's how you know it's just like love.
Oh man, like, absolutely.
Can't walk away from the wall. Okay, just like fucking eat something, Like,
Just take 5 minutes.
yeah, man. Like, I'd get some water.
I got better at it as I got older.
Oh,
I
yeah.
will definitely take a break. That's
Tear out there, like he's putting sunblock on. Like, this guy, he's experienced. But no, I got for sunburn and all. Yeah,
and he's he needs the sunblock. That
yeah,
he
error skinned.
he burns quick. I do the same though. It's been good. Like, we're very similar and we're always looking out for each other.
So,
But as far as your other question, walls, trains, I
doesn't matter.
don't care. No, all I like is time to do my thing. I was telling you, I'm not like you. I was listening to Red's thing, and that fool is fast. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the complete opposite. I'm slow as fucking molasses. And I do not care. I just wanna, like, to me, that's my fun. That's my free time. Rush around all day at work and in life. When I paint, I wanna chill.
Sure.
I think starting to paint freights was a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
As I was always like, oh, let me throw every bell and fucking whistle I can at this then. And if I had my way, you don't have all that time.
Sure.
So you got to figure out a way to like simplify your shit and erase things that you would normally not erase. I feel like I have like, that was always my big issue, was simplifying, and then like cutting shit off was always an issue for me. Like bottoms of letters, I'd be like, oh no, like I like what's going on down there. Like, don't want to see that, But you would have to find, like you said, you got to find a balance, as with anything,
I think as soon as you think like you're comfortable with something, graffiti has taught me that so much. Like I got weeks sometimes to plan a sketch. And and even if you could even have a sketch, but when you get to the train, you're like, oh, but you can't. You don't have that kind of time.
Absolutely. No, I get red on for that shit all the time, because I've done it plenty of times. I'm bringing a sketch. Like, I'm still.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I'll still try to do as much as possible. I don't give a fuck. To me, again, like, I want to see my piece roll away and be like, okay. Like, sure, there's always those moments where you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have changed this. But like for the most part, I like to be planned out for shit.
You pick your colors.
So everything's coordinated, labeled, ready to go. But like in general, for me, that was a good way to like pre-plan to speed things up, because I know I'm not like, I know I can paint fast if I need to,
Right.
but I'd rather take my time and try to plan shit out so I can have as much time as I can have to do what I want to do.
Right. Yeah, I'm still learning all these like tricks to make painting more efficient when I go out. I'll shake my cans up ahead of time.
Oh, for sure.
So, like who writers maybe would I know, or like what areas, you know?
Influence me.
Yeah.
I think meeting the homie Cedic from Baltimore was big. His style was totally different than anything that I do. But through meeting him, I got to meet more people. And I remember me, Tier, and Cedic, and we were painting. It was a skate park, but there was like, people could set up boards and paint. I forget what the park was called. Is this
Out here?
Nah, this was in Baltimore. But I think that was, it was Mask. He was painting. And there was one other Baltimore dude.
I'm gonna sit down with some of those cats, Baltimore cats too.
Dude, they're stylistically, that they have so many ill writers down there. Was Mask and somebody else painting that day. And I remember seeing that dude's piece, and I was like, well, this is fucking wild. And then I remember seeing, I think it was Daver that posted it. It might have been a Mask piece, or it was like an exchange between the two. I can't remember. But the way this dude like moved his letters, they like intersected, like not your regular like overlapping connections, but like the letters like intertwined with each other. Like they were almost making love. And I was like, that shit is fucking insane. Like at that point I was like, you know, letter overlap the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basic graffiti, just, yeah, like basic shit. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, that's wild. And that shit was an old photo. And I was like, wow, this guy's been fucking good for so long. Like that, just that idea is like, how do you do that? Like I want to try to do that to my letters. So I took that general idea and started to like really funk my letters like that, like more than just connections, like intertwining everything together to really like balance flow and create new shapes. Like I specifically remember that one as just being like a aha moment for me. Yeah, like, oh, that's something I want to try, and then just continuing to freak it like that. But meeting those guys, eventually got to meet Mecca. We painted a lot together. That was cool, because he was older, had been doing it way longer than me, in a rough, you know what I mean? Baltimore's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I mean, like to paint down there, whole different
breed. Yeah, Ugly tells me stories.
It's a pretty crazy place. But he had way more knowledge, way more connections. So that was like probably one of the first dudes I met that to me had like skin in the game, and really like could school me and be like, yeah, don't do this, don't do that, go here, don't go there.
Right.
You know, this is shit to watch out for. He was always just really like, was a pretty chill dude, was man. I had a good time painting with him. And then the dudes that I met, like in upper Pennsylvania area, meeting those dudes, like those guys had all different styles. Like I remember meeting this dude Jits, who I eventually like got put down on that crew. That guy's pieces were fucking insane. Like letter movements that I haven't seen before. Just very like West Coast-ish. He was super chill. Definitely like younger than me too. We're around the same age, definitely younger. But he would kick me sketch. I would get to try that. That was always cool to like exchanging with different artists. I think. What I've done that, yeah. You haven't done that? Oh, dude, I think that's some of the most fun. Like you get to. I think it's always important. Like you get a sketch from somebody, paint that shit. You know what I mean? Like I've seen some people go a little bit further, which I'm not in agreement with. So like kind of claim it as their own. That's weird, but I think painting it once and really getting to understand that person's style and how they look at letters and how they lay things out, it's beneficial to the person painting it. I feel like that builds style. It's definitely helped me.
That's something I'm just learning about. Like watching some of these old graffiti documentaries where they talk about like this person gave me this outline or whatever. That's something that's like completely new to me. I mean, I've always painted pretty much alone.
The NSK dudes were doing that. It used to be called the Exchange.
Okay.
And that's, I think that's pretty much where it came from. Or like the broader idea of doing that, past just like getting having your old homie pass you your outline and being like, here, do these letters, learn what you're doing type shit. I think to spread style in between like groups is pretty awesome. I think that was influential, like really influential for me. And then, you get to do that to, like you trade. So like on the back end, you get to explore a whole new set of letters and how they connect and looking at different ways of doing things. I think the other thing, I was talking to a younger writer about like, he was hung up on his letters and didn't think they were good or whatever the case was. But what I kicked to him was like that. And the other thing that I'll do is I'll look at like, I'll base things off other letters, right? So like I might like how a certain letter flows or like what you could do with it. And I kind of like sit down and try to dissect like how I could use that letter or the way it flows because I like the way it moves and apply it to my shit.
Right.
That is not that letter.
Right.
And try to look at it like that. That's always been influential for me for like style building, can't think of a specific like example of that, but that's kind of like my little tricks and trades that I use to try to like, if I'm in a rut or want to do something different,
Right.
That's how I'll approach that. But yeah, I think those couple things there, and then having like, just exchanging with other artists, I think is huge.
Yeah, we used to do this thing in the tattoo shop, like we would call it like fusion, where you'd pretty much like have a timer and everyone's drawing, and you draw for like 15 minutes and then you pass a drawing to your right. Okay. And then that person to pick up where you left up. And like, there's no rules. It's not like you have to make it look like how I made it look. And I'm like, and I'm starting to think about some of these ideas with like sketching sessions, like with graffiti and stuff, where it's like, I draw the first letter and pass it off to you. You know what I mean?
That's pretty cool.
And then we figure out how to connect or whatever. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember seeing those MSK dudes did something similar where it was like each dude, it was like a MSK spell out, I think. But each dude would do a different letter. And do like, and we painted with these dudes in Syracuse that came down, we had them come down here and they did that similar idea. And it's fucking cool to see like two wild ass styles like snatched together to spell out something bigger. It's like, ooh, that's,
yeah.
And watching that, specifically those dudes, watching it happen like fucking seamlessly. They work together so well. Those are another huge style influence.
Those guys are, yeah.
Syracuse dudes they're crazy. We met them. I met those guys through this dude Asar. I'm pretty sure he's up north. It was my girl. She was my wife at the time. She I still am not. Like, I'll post my stuff on Instagram, but I'm not big on talking about my art. It's probably a shortcoming I have, honestly. I don't know how you look at it. Yeah. It always went with the anonymity thing. Like, I wanted to be able to keep a clean balance in life where I could go do my own thing. Sure. Enjoy it, but also live a normal life. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Something like
That's that whole part of graffiti too is super fun. Like when just riding around, it's like, well, you're just going to the convenience store, but I'm scoping stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I'm on a secret mission.
Yeah.
Look
at the world a different way. Like, I don't look at I still look at oh, cool architecture, but I'm like, look at that little cutty alleyway. What's back there? Like, ooh, look at that blank wall that no one else is looking at, but I got plans for that. Yeah, that's definitely a fun thing. So my girl at the time, she was like, you got to get your shit out there. And I was like, well, I'm not what do you do? She not stole, but she took a bunch of my photos and she posted them on, at that time, bombing signs. Like, if you sent them photos, I guess they would put it up if it was something that they'd liked or whatever. But so she sent a couple in and they went up and it did pretty well. I was like, oh shit. Sweet. So I ended up, this other dude had photos in the same lineup as mine, and I was like, dope. I really liked his style, and he commented on mine, and I was like, really, your shit's fucking nuts. I'd love to paint with you. So he's like, yo, I'm gonna be up in Syracuse. It's gonna be a big jam. You wanna come up? And I was like, fuck yeah, I wanna come up.
Hell yeah.
So I got Tier and our other buddy Anya, and we go up there, and it's dude, it's the middle of fucking winter. They just got a ridiculous, a foot of snow is nothing up there.
Right.
My homie just came down from there a couple weekends ago and was like, oh yeah, it was just I'm not coming out of the house. It snowed 2 inches. I'm like, no, I'm staying at home. Come over to the house if you want. He's like, you guys don't drive in the snow? We just had 2 feet last week and 3 feet. Yeah. So it's nothing to them, but to us, I was like, oh shit, it's cold as fuck out here.
Yeah.
So we roll up, just snow covered, and I'm talking with a fuck ton of people. This had been the first time that I'd been involved in anything like this. So a little intimidating for sure. And these dudes are all it's this huge fucking warehouse. And I don't know. It was kind of a seedy area, I guess. The housing project across the road had some characters. Sure. Then the building was run down. But they let these dudes paint the whole fucking building. Inside, outside, they had pieces everywhere. It was the first time I had that much dope style unleashed on me all at one time. And I was like, oh shit, this is fucking amazing. So we painted that. We met this dude, Dash. He was writing Dash. He writes 2 different names. Met this dude, super nice guy. He was from up north to past Syracuse and those guys. But that was a cool moment to be able to pick up style, meet a bunch of fucking people, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of opens up the doors at that point where it's oh, we can kind of do this way further than what we're doing.
Yeah.
In our little tiny town,
And makes you feel probably too oh, I can hang.
we came.
I'm dope at this too.
We came away from that to be oh, okay, this is a fucking thing. And we always kept in contact with those dudes where they're all like happy enough to call them friends, you know what I mean? Oh, that's become a thing. So that was super cool, and that was like kind of a springboard to like painting more, and being able to like travel and do it, you know? Yeah, could have spots to like hang out with people in multiple cities. That was big.
I feel a little bit protective of my city. Some things have been done here, graffiti wise, by outsiders that like I'm not super stoked about.
Yeah.
It's like what your thoughts are like about etiquette, about being a guest in a city.
Always been big on that. Like if I'm going out of town, respect till I'm meeting up with a dude that's from that town. I don't want to be stepping on toes. You know what I mean? Like that's never been how I've tried to roll. I've always tried to be like respectful of shit, cause you don't know, like if you're going somewhere else, you don't know their history. Like, man, you could be the biggest history buff ever, right? But you'll miss something.
Yeah, sure.
And I always like, you would see people slip up and paint over somebody's dead homie and be like, oh, but you know,
Yeah.
they just thought it was an old
Or like, yeah,
shitty piece.
there's gonna be that person is not big in like the states, but they're big in their city. That's a history in their city, you know.
Yep. Big on that. Yeah. Like I don't go for shit unless I know, I know that it's not of significance to the culture, or two, if I can't imagine, I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I roll. Yeah, I feel like you gotta have respect for shit.
Yeah.
Well, now.
So even if like you're lucky to be invited to paint in a city that you only paint what you're supposed to paint, or like what you're, I don't want to say given permission to paint, but like it's not your house.
Yeah, exactly. I've not had those terrible experiences. Whenever I'm like, if I go to another city, paint something that I'm supposed to, like I'm there to do that, then those people from that area are like, gotcha for the rest of the night. Let's go knock some shit out. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I'm feeling that 100%.
Right.
I'm not going to a spot that I've been invited and people don't reach out. I'm not there to fuck shit up or step on toes or act like a knucklehead.
Right.
Well, it's most of the time when I travel on, got shit to do. I had to get back home, you know, and sure, a purpose and get my shit done and I'm out.
Sure.
But yeah, I always try to be, etiquette's big, because we've had the same thing happen in our towns where it's like, me and Tia would talk about it. There's like waves, right? Like every 2 years, there'll be another little wave. People just thinking that your area is something it's not. Like you said earlier, we live in a small town. Like treating it like a big city ain't gonna work out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so make it work for you. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I was always big on piecing, big on trying to like make this bridging of a gap between our regular public.
Yeah. Might make friends with.
Exactly. Like, this is what we can do. Your version of graffiti might not, you might hate it, but like, there's a whole nother side of it that you're not recognizing. That's beautiful. Not that the other side isn't beautiful, but for some people it's too raw.
Sure.
So look, that's how we've always tried to treat it, is like, you know, use the town for what it's good for. Like it could be good for, if it's smaller, it could be good for like style building, showing people what's up, like really flexing.
Right.
That was always important to me specifically, and I'm sure Tier feels the same way. Like it's always been a goal of ours to create something bigger.
Yeah, I see that with you and Tier, especially. I see Tier being like kind of like a bridging the gaps.
I feel last year was a big one for that for us. It was I think it was a slower year for both of us. You know, life has its got to do this, got to do that, don't have time for this, don't have time for that. Let's figure out how to, keep things moving. And this year it was very much like, well, let's branch out a little bit. There's like newer, younger writers, there's people that, they know that we might not know. Like, let's look at it like that. Yeah. Like, it doesn't just have to be our town. It could be different towns together, and I feel like this past year was great for that. It was great to meet you. Great to paint with other younger writers that we haven't had the opportunity to paint with yet. Sure. And to see them just crush it, and I feel like add to that local scene and watch it spider out. Yeah, it's been super excited. You know what I mean? And I think I don't think any of that stuff would be possible without Tier. I feel like that guy has been, like, we've been painting together for a long time. He's been my right-hand man, but I feel like over the last couple of years, that dude's been just fucking killing it. Like, putting things together, making sure that people are painting, making sure that the spots are growing. Yeah. Like, it's been super exciting to watch and be a part of, and
I agree.
just proud to call him a friend, and watch him do his fucking thing.
I agree. I'm grateful that that I got introduced to you guys and was invited to paint with you guys, and look forward to painting more.
Absolutely.
Can't wait till the fucking snow goes away. I want my up. I'm sure everybody's getting their heads right now. It gets harder.
It does. I'll tell you what, the last 2 years, like I said, it's been a little while since I've been dabbling the way I used to. Yeah. And it's just like,
it'll come in its waves.
Yeah, it does. Well, I just met up with a couple buddies of mine that I hadn't seen in a while. And we were up this way checking things out, and we met up with another bencher dude, and we were sitting there, and this guy loves to talk. So we ended up talking for it was like an hour, just standing out in the parking lot. At the end of it, I was like, bro, I'm fucking frozen to the bone. I was like, I can't believe that this hour used to be 3, 4, 5 hours painting till you can't feel your finger anymore. Like, the older I get, I'm like, it's cold outside. I'll see you when it warms up.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to what's gonna happen springtime. Are you doing anything with your art as a professional, or is it strictly just something you do?
It's been, I'd say, up until recently, yeah, it's been huge. It was always a huge push. So I was in, I've always been a screen printer, so I've always been in art production.
Do you incorporate that into what you do? Do you make merch or anything?
I used to do t-shirt designs with work. That's all I did. And the shop that I work at now is pretty demanding. And my time is less. Yeah. So after 9-10 hour days of screen printing.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about screen printing.
And I get home and I'm it's a fast paced job. It's physical. You're on the feet all day. You're moving, playing, all that. I'm exhausted at the end of the day. Sure. And then before the shop that I work at currently, I was doing all the printing, all the art, all the separations, everything. So for a while there, it was art all day, art all night.
It can be draining.
It is.
Even if it's something you love, it can.
I think I was talking to a buddy the other day, and it's I'm kind of in a weird spot. I turned my hobby into my job, and now kind of, you get in these weird funks where you're I don't fucking even want to do my free time. I just want it to be my free time. Sure, chill. That being said, I've been fortunate enough to paint murals for money, do graffiti, like demos for kids at schools, do work for schools, bars, breweries, that type of thing. So yeah, I think I would say that I've done something with it. But I feel like it gets weird, you know?
We talked a little bit about this at the one wall where and I'm like I feel so strongly about this now. I have other artist friends who like don't necessarily feel the same way when they feel like that they feel lucky just to be making art for a living. They don't give a shit that much if it's a project they love every single day. You know, I feel like it's so much a part of my identity being an artist. Even if I was like homeless, I would be like scribble.
Yeah, I got to create something at the end of the day. Right, that's the passion. That's nothing else. I feel like nothing else really does it for me like that.
Do you dabble in other art forms?
I've done a lot of stuff. Done graphic design. Went to Bradley for graphics. Continued that in the screen printing. Painting, graffiti. Like, was always drawing since a child. You know what I mean? Like, sure, always sketching. But yeah, I've done canvases. I'd like to say that I'm a pretty well-rounded artist. Like, I've been fortunate enough to be able to produce in different genres, and sure, it's fun. Yeah.
Is there other stuff like if you're gonna do a painting that's not graffiti, like what kind of stuff do you enjoy painting?
Oh, it's been so long since I've done anything that isn't.
Or when you do a canvas now, is it graffiti related or?
It would be for
Yeah.
sure. Or like illustrative. Sure. I've kind of playing with that, bringing that concept back. I feel like when I first started painting, like conceptual shit was way more interesting to me. Like my letters don't necessarily need to be traditional, right? Like they can be whatever. Like I've done a piece that was a Swiss Army knife. Okay. That it was like
all the parts
coming out, parts come out, and then spelled the name out. Sick. That started kind of with that concept down in Baltimore with CEDIC with the brain that said inside the brain. And I was like, I always liked going back to that bridging the gap idea, like making people think a little bit more than just letters. Not that I just love letters. Like I love everything, but like I love letters. You know what I mean? I take different elements and make these letters something else. That to me is fun. So
yeah, you like what you guys did up at the E-Town along?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was a curveball. I was thinking just like traditional Halloween, and we're talking to Neos, and he gets into some other stuff. He was like, let's do this Lovecraftian horror thing. And I was like, cool. Don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And he's like, here's a couple movies, check these out. And I'm like, all right. So I watched them, and they were something. Yeah. By the end of that, my wife was real upset. I'm not watching another one of these fucking things. I was like, but I need it to figure out what the fuck's going on here, so I have something to paint, because currently I got a loose idea, but it's real loose. Yeah. So, yeah, that was fun. That was it was a kind of a throwback to the more conceptual shit that I used to do.
Awesome color choices.
That was the cool part about it, was the color palette was like kind of lent itself to what we do anyway. Like if you look at that Lovecraftian stuff, it's like these bright, like glowing colors. I'm sure. I was like, that part's easy. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna make these letters look. Right. Then like what's going on. And two of the movies I was like, oh, okay, like as soon as I saw some of the shit going on, I was like, well, that's graphic, and like I can play with that. Sure. So that was fun. And I've been playing with this one idea I've had this idea for a while. And the concept was a picture of a block, right? But all it was in my head. I was like, I'll eventually get around to this. And I had been saying it for like years and years and years. It's like 3 years at this point, right? And I was like, I can fucking do this thing. It's been a while since I've sat down and tried something like that. So it was this past year. Yeah. It was this past winter before going into this time that we met and painted. Finally sat down and buttoned that thing up. So I'm waiting to, like, I want it, like, I feel like it needs to be like in a spot, you know? Yeah, I'm not just painting it because I want to paint it, because I fucking can't stand it. I've been sitting on it for this long, right? Like, I'm ready to go. But like, the spot hasn't been a proper spot yet. Yeah, but I'm excited for that kind of change. I feel like that whole session was super freeing for everybody. Like, I know me and Yas were talking about it afterwards, and we're like, I think it's time to go around with some more like fun styles. Like, yeah, from starting to paint freights and try to simplify my structures down. It's been a while since I've done something where I'm like, let's push limits, you know, let's make something that isn't traditional. Because I think I'm a pretty big stickler on that, like letter forms and structures, and like if your structure is good or not. Like, that's something that I'm always looking for in anybody that I paint with. Right. Yeah, style's just big. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, that's like my. I think that's the part of graffiti that makes me smile. You know, I get excited about, where it's like you see somebody pulling some dope letter styles and like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Like, solid. There's only people that just don't got it, but they think they got it, kind of thing. Yeah, and that's, I don't know. I guess we over there, because I would say like the first half of my career was, I look back at it and I'm like, surprised you still are doing this. Because it didn't begin. This was trash, dude. It takes a special mind to be able to do it. I think, you know what I mean? And talking about tags, dude, like that. There are some dudes out there that have tags that are like pieces, man. Like, they're just beautiful. Philly hand styles, Baltimore hand styles too. They're fucking wild, man. Yeah, like the flow, the way they pop flares.
It is, and so, again, going back to just like foundation, you know, like Chewy and I talked about.
Having those foundational things, and like, I think the build style, you gotta, like, it comes down to stripping it back down, dude. You gotta have, like, a letter flows a certain way. You can tweak it and funk it up, but it's still gotta be that letter, and it still has to be like, I feel like you gotta understand that letter style or its potential to have style. Right. You know? And that comes from building it from the ground up.
I think too, learning how to make each letter look like they're a part of the same font, and even if that's important, there's no real rules.
No,
You know, but
cohesion is
style, you know, good style. You know, I feel like there's ways probably you can make each letter look like they're not supposed to go together. It should look cool, but even just like looking like it should go together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's just so much stuff to learn, and so go.
There's a lot of stuff to learn for sure.
What do you hope for the graffiti culture here in this area? What do you want to see happen?
I'd love to see it continue in the direction that it's currently on. Like, it needs to continue to grow, right? And I think everybody's done a good job of that. I feel like if we continue to push it, only good things can happen. I'd love to see it transform into something bigger, or move more into like mural space,
A production company or something?
something like that, where it's like, these people are getting paid now to do what the fuck they love to do, and all of the trials, tribulations, time put in can be materialized into something, you know? And I'd love to make sure, I think the biggest thing for me is to see the people that have put in all of that work be paying their stuff. You know what I mean? Because I think you see murals done around town that are not of, I shouldn't say of the quality, they're still quality, but the imagery you could tell is kind of cookie cutter type shit, or they're not from this culture. And I feel like specifically in our town, I think we put up more square footage or more murals or graffiti than any of the other mural companies or artists in town in general. Like, Tierra and myself have had the opportunity to cover, sure, a good section of walls in that. Yeah. But it would be nice if it was more recognized as the art form that it is and what it can be.
Yeah, almost. That seems to be a common thread. I know some other artists from Harrisburg that talked about this too. I don't want to mention specific production companies, but bringing in outsiders to put up murals in the space, and nothing against those artists. Some of them are talented artists. Some of the murals I like, but there's artists who live and work in this city or from this city that have been beautifying this city for years.
Should be getting that.
But like,
And why are you not sourcing out from that town? Like, for us specifically in our town, it was not covered for a long time, and then they finally put out a mural. I don't know, not like a walk, but like, yo, here's a map.
sure,
Here's some shit to go look at. And that map, there's like 20 spots that we painted on there. You know what I mean? Like, why are you guys, like, as a city, why are you not covering this? Why are you not seeking these people out? Like, if we're not part of the culture, this is part of the city, and embrace it, because our city is art city.
yeah.
We're yet. What do we got to do here?
On the ground floor,
Exactly, and we're pushing it, pretty much by ourselves at this point.
I think you guys are doing a fantastic job, and I think it's only going to continue to grow.
I just hope that it keeps going in like a positive forward direction, and to continue to see people come together and, just to crush it. Yeah, I mean, like, the past years have been great. We've had the opportunity to bring in the people that we know, that we've met, put them on, and continue to, just get better. Yeah, and I think that's the big push, is like, every time we get to paint one of these spots or do something together, I feel like it's constantly been, let's push it to the next level. Yeah, let's see how far we can go. I think that's what it all comes down to, because at the end of the day, like, no matter how good you are or how many resources you have, there comes a point in time where not one individual can do it all. So, like, it takes building this community, putting these people together, painting together, really working together to create, larger, better things. Sure, more spots, like, one person can do a lot, but it takes a village, you know what I mean? For sure. Put it all together, put these people, and I feel like those times for me, especially the older I get, they're special.
Yeah.
Getting together with the boys to paint I look forward to that shit. I'm sitting here at winter times as Jones and ready to, like, see what's cooking, and to see what everybody's coming up with, what people are working on. Like, I think those are the most exciting times coming up.
Yeah.
I always get excited to see what people bring to the wall.
The themes, like, I'm anxious to see like new themes and seeing everybody push their letter style and stuff like that.
To me, that's like the most fun shit, man. Like, I'm like a kid. Like, that's my kid time. I'm like, yo, can we see us do does? Like, yeah.
I was in the messages when I think someone was like, you guys have like a sketch of what you're working on? I did not want to send that. I'm like, everyone gonna scrutinize this too.
I kept trying to get Nias to break and be like, just kind of hint around. I'm like, oh, we sharing sketches here or what? He's like, I think we're gonna wait till the wall. I was like, good, because I'm not done yet. Okay, I might be all night long to the wire to get this broken.
Oh, that's anxiety inducing.
Oh, for sure. Because I know F will bring in the average buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that we paint with, like,
Yeah, you guys kill it.
there's really not like a slouch on the bunch. Like, everybody shows up. Everybody's different. Everybody gives a. Yeah, I mean, like, it's exciting to see people put it up like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like now with the blossoming local scene, I feel like there's someone for everything now.
Sure.
Like, it doesn't have to be, like, it could be everybody doing it. It makes everybody's life easier too. Plus, I feel like, you know, level wise, like I said earlier, like everybody's kind of hitting the same strides, and it feels good.
Yeah, man.
You know, I'm excited. Be a good year.
Super cool sitting down with you. Yeah,
Is that you, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to this summer.